Welcome to Season 7 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. My name is Melissa Moore, the Retail Advisor and Rethink Retail Top Retail Expert for 2024. Each week, I'll be joined by industry experts, retailers and brands to dispel the myths, share knowledge, and give you an insight into the retail industry. Listen back to previous episodes on your favourite podcast platform or, of course, on YouTube. And while you're there, please do subscribe to the podcast so that you get to listen first every single week. So in the meantime, grab that cup of tea, sit back and listen in to Season 7 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. So today I'm joined by a guest who is an incredibly experienced retailer. Having worked in various D2C store roles for Marks & Spencer in London and then in Dublin, he went on to become head of selling for M&S on the island of Ireland, working closely with store teams, Irish food supply base and marketing partners. He explains that he reluctantly left M&S after over 25 years to take on Director of Retail Ops and Customer Service at Primark, again travelling across the world. Then finally, in late 2021, today's guest became the first non-family CEO in a business that's reaching its 160th year milestone this year. The omni-channel business with a passionate service ethos has, as he says, a surprising range of international brands in 15 stores around every corner of Ireland. Conrad Digan, CEO of Shaw's Department Stores, welcome to the Retail Tea Break podcast.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled that you've decided to come on to the podcast. There's so much going on for Shaw's at the moment. So I'm really excited to kind of dig a bit deeper now and for you to kind of take us through all of that. But look, in the age-old tradition of the Retail Tea Break podcast, in the time that it takes to boil a kettle, as they say, tell us a little bit more about you and the business.
Yeah, so as you said, Melissa, I'm the CEO here at Shaw's, coming up towards my third year anniversary now. Shaw's is 160 years in business this year. So yeah, original first store opened in 1864. It's really mind-blowing to think of that. And as you said, we trade in literally every corner of Ireland. We've 15 stores, soon to be 16. I'm sure we'll touch on that as we go forward. And it's a family-owned business, has always been a family-owned business. And I think that's one of the real secrets of success, because there's a real family value ethos right through the business. Our colleagues would talk passionately about feeling like they're really part of a family, and our customers equally would identify and recognize that kind of personal service that, you know, I suppose epitomize those family values as well. So yeah, so delighted to be at Shaw's, and lots of opportunity and a really, really strong heritage to be proud of.
I know, and that's so important. We'll certainly dive a bit deeper into some of those values because, as you say, it really makes you stand out in the market right now, but also down through the years, which I think is why the brand and all those stores are so popular. But look, we have to talk first and foremost, and a massive congratulations on this imminent new store opening in Athlone. So obviously it's a new concept, I believe, for Shaw's, and your first opening in what, about 8 or 9 years?
Yeah, so yeah, our last opening was about 8 years ago, actually in Mullingar. So we're opening on October the 10th in the Golden Island Shopping Centre in Athlone. It's a new concept for us in that it's a fashion-led concept. So we're really clear about who our core and target customer is, that female lady who wants to really look good, is really focused on fashion, and has really responded well to the range of brands we offer at Shaw's. So we see this as a great opportunity to bring a strong mix of brands from Mango and Puntaroma and Esfera to all the leading lingerie brands, some of the key beauty brands that we sell, under the one roof into what we feel is an ideal location for us in terms of right in the centre and in Athlone.
That's fantastic. And how exciting then to bring all these key brands together under one roof for you, but also to have gone out there and decided that this was going to be that kind of fashion forward brand, especially for ladies wear, as you say, which is kind of, I think, key to that shopping centre. So for any of you that don't know it, it's a prime location in the middle of the country, literally. but quite a daunting, I'd say, yet exciting time for you.
Yeah, it is. But that said, we're confident about it. Melissa, we've talked a lot to our customers in recent months about fully understanding what their perceptions of us are, what they expect from shows, what they like us to offer. And there's certainly something about that customer being able to come in under one roof, see different brands, perhaps not being labeled by age, but more around how they want to present themselves. So I think having this mix and array of different brands in a convenience store, yeah, we're feeling confident. Certainly the initial anecdotal feedback from customers in the area. And I think I even mentioned to you that we were at the ploughing championships recently and held a fashion show there showcasing some of our products, and lots of customers coming up and really excited about shows coming to Athlone. So touch wood, October 10th, Golden Island. We're really looking forward to it.
Oh, I bet you are. And I'm sure your customer or your new customer even in that area is as well. And it sounds like, Conrad, that you've heavily invested in physical stores. Obviously, this is a new one opening. I know you've invested in, I suppose, revisiting some of your existing store portfolio over the last few years. Why has that been so important for the company?
Our business is about physical stores, Melissa. It's who we've been for 160 years. It was timely, probably post-COVID, that we went back and looked at our store estate, and as you said, went back to invest and to really to modernize our stores. So if I take a typical example, we have a store in the center of Carlow, a town that we've gone in the last kind of 6 months and overhauled the store, improved the brand proposition in there, and also added additional customer services. So for example, the normal beauty adjacency now, like nails and brows, but also a full-blown hairdresser. So we have Pilo hairdressing led by Denise Phillips as a new opportunity and a new aspect to our store in Carlow. And it's about us keeping in tune with what our customer is looking for and what a customer is expecting, what different experiences, and that certainly has been well received. We get lots of comments now about our refitted stores, along the lines of, well, this is the same as any of the great department stores in Dublin, and we take that as a bit of a pat on the back or a bit of recognition. So hopefully moving in the right direction.
Oh, I think you certainly are. And it's lovely, as you said, that, you're moving with the times. The brand is, as you said, 160 years old now, but you've kept up to date with your customer. You've listened to them. I think it's very clear with the proposition that you have, with all the various brands that you have, that you want to kind of lead the pack here. That must be so exciting for you then to have that feedback from customers.
It is. We want to be the best on every high street that we operate. It's very simple for us. Shows has been built on a tradition of looking after customers. And I was interested, I listened to one of your recent podcasts where you had 4 of the retail experts on, and I loved the vibe around retail is, it's a simple business, and it's not a complicated business. It's really about looking after customers. And our customers tell us that they enjoy coming into our stores, touching and feeling product, getting a bit of advice when they need it, and that keeps them coming back. And I suppose that's maybe as simple or as complicated as it is.
And I think you're right. I think traditional retail, when you break it down, the fundamentals are about, really great products delivered in a really beautiful way, especially when physical is so important to stores, but also with you. And I think what stands out to me as a customer, that idea of personal service, your team, your people are obviously very, very important to who you are and your identity. So I suppose on the one hand, my question is, your customer must love that, but also your people must really enjoy serving them at the same time.
Yeah, we're really fortunate in Shows. We have incredible length of service. We've got great colleagues. And again, as we were thinking about our strategy over the past couple of years, and we thought about our vision, again, we landed in I suppose, a fairly simple place that, customers trust us to help create exceptional experience, unforgettable experience with exceptional personal service. And that's really the ethos and the vision and that has made shows so successful for those years. And we still believe that that holds water going forward. That's the basis of our business, and we need to keep challenging ourselves to improve that proposition. And a key part of that, as you call out, is having the right people on the shop floor and ensuring we look after, support, and ensure that the customer's getting that consistent experience when they visit us.
I'm sure that's not easy at the moment, though, as well, or even in the current climate, as we've been talking about for the last few years, getting the right people on the shop floor to meet your customer. Because again, your people or your colleagues, as you call them so rightly there, are such a huge part of that Shaw's experience.
Yeah, I mean, recruitment and retention across retail in Ireland has been challenging. Again, I think we're really fortunate. We do have a disproportionate number of long service people, so people who are clearly engaged by the brand, enjoy their jobs, and as I said, are a part of that family. It's not uncommon in shows that people could have worked for 30 years. In fact, our buyer on menswear has worked 40 years in different roles in the business, but been with us 40 years. So we've got incredible length of service. In some locations, it's more difficult in terms of retention. Competition is tough, and people are looking at opportunities probably for roles outside of retail that may be perceived as easier jobs, or perhaps there's remote working involved in it. But overall, I think we are in a strong place on the people side of things, with great people who continue to deliver that great service for us.
And I think that's seen within the industry as well. You look after your people, and therefore your people, your colleagues, certainly look after your customer. Because I think that's the key essence for me as a shopper coming into Shaw's is you'll be looked after. You can have that conversation. You can also find people on the shop floor, which again, unlike maybe other brands out there right now, not knocking any of them, of course, but there is that really personal touch when you come into one of your stores.
There is, and if I could share, maybe I'm just thinking as you make that point, a story. Every week on our leadership team meeting, we share examples of service, some hopefully mainly good, but on occasions where we get it wrong, because it's all about us learning and keeping it fresh. And last week, one of the team shared, a customer letter that had been written in about our store down in Tralee. And a gentleman was going to a christening. He called out that he wasn't very good at choosing outfits, and his daughter had suggested he goes into Shaw. So, his words, I came in for some pants and I ended up leaving with a shirt and a belt and the whole outfit. He goes along to the christening and then gets loads of compliments. And he writes back in talking about just the member of staff on the shop floor who gave him the wonderful advice. And I know on some levels that seems really basic, but for me, I love hearing feedback from customers around how are we getting it right? How do we do more of that? And on the occasions when we get it wrong as well, and they do happen, it is retail and it's live. What can we do to address that? So keeping that customer voice not in a kind of false way at the table, but actually bringing the customer words on a weekly basis to our table, I think makes a real difference. It keeps us focused on the things that are important.
That's such a heartwarming story. And actually, do you know what? I think, again, fundamentally, that's what retail's about. Someone's come in looking for a bit of advice, looking for something actually initially quite simple, a pair of trousers there, but to have actually let them walk away with everything they needed to turn up to that incredible event fully dressed. Yes, you could say technically that, you've upsold that colleague has used their retail skills really well, but actually that's a really great service to have ensured that they were fully ready for that occasion.
Yeah.
And that they're delighted with it. Because again, if you get compliments, if emotionally you're made to feel really good about the purchases you've had, which this customer obviously had, then you've done your job. And no doubt then if they've told everyone at that event where they got the outfit from, that's then just led to more and more compliments. And I suppose that's where loyalty comes into play. And it's such a gorgeous story of perfect service, which again nowadays doesn't always happen.
No, I think you're right, and I think one of the keys in it is the authenticity. So
Yeah.
you reference that upselling bit, and that's important. Of course, it is. Every retailer wants to drive the average transaction value, and the units, etc. And we're no different in that. However, there is something about that service in shows that comes from an authentic place of actually
Yeah.
wanting to help the customer. And if you spoke to the team on the floor, I don't think, selling the extra item is necessarily the driver. It's really about, well, let's see how I can help that customer. And as you said, customers talk about it. And we are lucky, again, in shows. I've worked in a number of, different big brands, and everybody's got their, I suppose, their USP. And I think one of the pieces for us that we shouldn't forget is we've got incredibly loyal customers. So customers who've shopped with us through the family generations, they're coming back, they're recommending it to the rest of their family. And yet, I suppose I balance that with, we still have opportunities to do a better job in winning new customers. So how we talk a bit more about maybe improving the perception of shows. So as we invest all this money, and as we, do all the facelift, add in the new brands, and we're constantly adding new brands to our proposition, we need to make sure that customers who are perhaps not coming into shows are aware of what we stand for now, not just what we've stood for over the years, but how the brand is evolving and staying in tune with the customer.
And I think that's really clever. Yes, it's difficult because, I suppose, as you've alluded to there, we keep talking about the fact that the brand is 160 years old. Well, I've no doubt there are customers coming in that have shopped with you through the years, whether it was fashion for them when they were younger, whether it was household items, baby gifts, cosmetics now, the skincare. Like, it is everything under one roof, and it can't be easy to kind of keep ahead of the game. I know you mentioned Mango are with you, which is an incredible international brand for you to have in that brand mix. But you have so many current, I want to say fashionable in almost inverted commas, but so many fashionable brands, as well as, I suppose, those that have given you longevity, those that we would all know and would support and are loyal to. It's an unbelievable mix that you've managed to pull together.
Yeah, and I think the word that hits me as you say that, Melissa, is surprising, because it's so often since I've started in this role and I've brought stakeholders, and we tend to try and meet stakeholders on the shop floor and start conversations explaining who we are and what we mean to our customers. But when you show people the mix of brands, surprised is the word, and it's often actually used. People will say, God, I didn't know you had this mix of brands. So whether that is Mango or Pundroma or Esfera, as on ladies' fashions, or on men's, it could be from Springfield to Levi's to Wrangler to Echo Shoes, and beauty, all the main brands from Elizabeth Arden to Sculpted to Clarence to Cash Beauty, Be Perfect. They're all under the one roof. And for us, perhaps in a Dublin, central Dublin setting, maybe that's less unique and it's more what customer expects. But when you're in Ballina, Castlebar, Tralee, Wexford, Waterford, Drogheda, wherever it is, I think the customers really appreciate having that mix of brands, and adding that convenience under one roof, and they're definitely often surprised. Yeah.
I love that word. And I think surprise in such a good and exciting way because, again, you're a one-stop shop now. It doesn't matter the age group, it doesn't matter the occasion, there is something for everyone. And as you said, for fashion and also for homewares. And I think, again, people forget that as well. You do so much for your customer. But I suppose, look, we've talked about now bricks and mortar is really critical for sure. It's where you started, it's where you still meet an awful lot of your customers. But obviously, over the last couple of years, the website itself has really taken off. How, forgive me for saying this, but I
Yeah.
suppose, would it be fair to say you were probably a little bit late to the party on this one when it came to online?
I think that's very fair, and we're no different than lots of other retailers. I think COVID was a bit of a wake up call. We really started our journey only a couple of years ago, so we're still at infancy stage. We're seeing strong growth. Some of the brands are really flying for us. It's really interesting that you mentioned home. There's a real quality aspect of our home proposition that our customers are absolutely aware of, and she confidently shops online from us, whether it's across the bedding categories or other home categories, and they're growing really, really well. And yeah, it's really challenging, Melissa. We're a small team. We're a relatively small business, and we can't necessarily cope with the big corporate guys who have large teams and huge investment into everything to do with e-commerce. So again, it's important for us that we focus on that personal service bit and really, I suppose, deliver for the customer, whether that's through a click and collect solution, whether it's delivery direct to home. But it's really listening and learning, and we are learning every day on e-commerce. Like again, I love the stories when we sit down at trade on a Monday around what's worked perhaps online and how we're translating that to the store and what the customer is actually telling us. So it's been it's a relatively new channel for us. Yes, it is growing rapidly, thankfully, but it's hard work every day to keep in a relatively small business to keep moving forward against really stiff competition.
And a fair play to you, because as you mentioned there, and I think we do forget, you are a small business. You have this huge portfolio across the country. You've obviously got your online, but actually at the center of it all, it's a really small group of people doing it all.
It is, yeah. No, the team, it's a lean team, as most businesses in our position have. So people tend to get involved very cross-functionally. Again, if I compare it to some of maybe the corporates that have a lots of specialist functions and big teams of people, we really do rely on all of our people in the support office and right across the business to support the various initiatives and actually roll the sleeves up and help deliver the change that our customer expects from us. So yeah, no, again, it comes back to that people piece. Again, we're fortunate in Shaw's to have a great group of people working right the way across the business.
That's incredible. And well done for shouting about it as well, because again, that's not done enough anymore in retail. Other things I want to talk about, because I know they're so embedded in what you do now and also your values, that Shaw's is driving this sustainability agenda. So obviously both from an environmental perspective, I've read, but also for community, because you do so much charity work. So I'd love to hear a bit more about, I suppose, all the non-retail aspects that Shaw's has.
Yeah, I think on the charity side, we're partners with Special Olympics Ireland, and again, our team, and particularly our colleagues out in stores, and they chose the charity. We went out to our stores a couple of years ago now, because we're 2 years, I think, into the arrangement, asking them who should we partner with, and the guys all came back with a real passion around a charity that's got connotations locally right the way across
Brilliant.
Ireland. And then, Special Olympics fitted with that. Lots of athletes who are dispersed right the way around the country, who take part in the various fundraising events we have in our local stores. And the funds we raise then go back into those local communities. So it feels like a really nice fit, a nice family orientated partnership. And I have to say a big shout out to the guys at the Special Olympics. They do such an amazing job, and they're just great guys to partner with. So yeah, it's a big part of who we are. I think on the other bits that you mentioned, Melissa, so the sustainability bits, it's difficult for us. Again, if you compare us to the corporates who have got big teams of people, so we really focus on doing what can we do. So there's all the basic stuff in running a physical store around LED lighting, so that from an energy efficiency perspective, you're doing the right things. But on top of that, we have 5 of our stores now driven by solar panels. So I think in terms of proportion of our retail outfit to have that volume of solar, we're learning from it all the way along, and we've got plans to do more and more of our stores. So yeah, no, we're proud of what we've done. We're conscious there's so much more we can do, and there's probably a lot more that we can lean into with our brand partners around how we can drive our sustainability credentials and keep listening to that customer feedback as well.
It's great though to hear that you're on that journey, because I think there's lots of retailers the last marketeers that want to do something, they know it's important, but actually they've no idea where to start. So even hearing those ideas that you've had, I think will really support people out there. But I love the idea of the solar panels on the roof, especially, you know, driving these big stores that you have, which is incredible. But yeah, definitely a journey, as you say, but to be applauded that you're on it for sure, because it's not easy on top of running the business itself. But look, final question, and it's always a big one because obviously we're coming into the golden quarter now, and as you say, you know, Athlone is opening next week, which is so exciting. But what's coming up next for you and the brand over the next 6 months?
Well, as you said, the overused term, we're coming into the golden quarter.
Yeah.
We've had our team together in the last few weeks, really talking about our product. And literally every item we sell in our store turns into a gifting opportunity as you lead into Christmas. So again, going back to that range of brands from, you know, Mango Punch Aroma to Espira, right across all of the leading beauty brands, our menswear brands, and then our home and our Christmas gifting range really lifts off as we go into the next quarter. So really, it is about heads down for the next few months, making sure our stores are properly set up for our customers and welcoming in a whole cohort of customers who maybe only visit us around this time of the year, and making sure that we blow them away with that personal service so they keep coming back to us. And as you said, Athlone's just around the corner for us now, a momentous occasion for us. As you said, 8 years since we opened our last store. So this fashion-focused store in the Golden Island in Athlone is something that we're really looking forward to. There's lots of local interest in it. No doubt we're going to learn some lessons along the way, but we'll take those forward. And yeah, so really the next few months are going to be busy for everyone in the Shaw's team.
Oh, really special though. So much excitement to look forward to there with the brand growing at such a rate of knots now. I'm sure you're proud of what you've achieved, but also so proud of the team.
Really proud of the team. You know, as we look into next year a bit further down the line, we're conscious that we need to have a think about our brand overall as well. So how do we as a group of people, you know, describe and continue to develop what our brand stands for? The brand awareness that we have in Shaw's always blows me away. As soon as you mention Shaw's to anyone in any corner of Ireland, they've always got a story about it. But our opportunity now is that surprising word, and to let customers know the breadth of the range of product that we offer in our stores now is much changed and continues to evolve. So it's really driving that brand perception message as we go forward, Melissa. Is a big one for us.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to hear that the brand continues to innovate and move itself forward. You know, as we're going in, as you said, we're 160 years now. I have no doubt there's many, many more to come. Well, look, if you've enjoyed today's podcast episode, please do like and share it with those in the industry. Remember, you can also listen back to past Retail Tea Break episodes on your favorite podcast platform, or of course over on YouTube. Connect with myself and Conrad on LinkedIn. And obviously, please, if you're in the Athlone area, do go and check out this new store in Golden Island from the 10th of October, as well, of course, as all 15 other stores across the country, and of course their website, because it's well worth checking out. Remember, you'll be able to find the transcript for today's episode on the retaileradvisor.ie, along with all the details for Shaw's. Conrad, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. Really enjoyed it.